Hello and welcome to St. Patrick Parish's digital experience of the Holy Triduum. There'll be a couple ways in which you'll be participating and entering into these sacred days. You'll have the opportunity to see some reflections with Sister Margaret, Deacon Charles, and myself. There'll be the opportunity to gather in the evening for live prayer services streamed online. And there'll be some household prayers you'll be able to pray at home with your family. For the home prayer service, there's a document that I'll provide a link to that will be helpful for you to have ready in your house. And also at the end of each of the daily reflections, I'll provide a simple walkthrough for that day for the prayers to be prayed at home. Hello and welcome to our Holy Triduum retreat. We're going to be sharing some reflections over these sacred days with you. I'm Pastor Father Jim Morrison.
I'm Sister Margaret, Principal of the school.
And I'm Deacon Charles.
For me, images of Holy Thursday liturgy are washing of the feet, the Eucharist, the stripping of the altar, the procession to the altar of repose, and time in the Garden of Gethsemane. As we enter into the solemn drama of the Easter Triduum, I was expecting the Gospel to highlight the institution of the Eucharist. Instead, the passage of John's Gospel focuses on the washing of the feet. On Holy Thursday, Jesus knew at the Last Supper that his hour had come. He was fully aware that he had come from God and was returning to God. So Jesus set us an example of great love. He began to wash his apostles' feet and dry them with his towel. Peter strongly resisted. "You will never wash my feet." Jesus responded, "What I am doing you do not understand now, but you will later. Unless I wash you, you will have no inheritance with me." Peter said, "Wash not only my feet, but my hands and head as well." When Jesus had washed their feet, he told them, "I have given you a model to follow, so that as I have done for you, you should also do." Doing little things with great love can change our world. How can I model Jesus' actions today? During this pandemic, we see all kinds of generous human acts reaching out to the vulnerable, the sick, those in need. Our frontline heroes are nurses, doctors, first responders, police, firefighters, military, street cleaners, hospital cleaners, grocery stores, those stocking shelves, feeding the hungry, finding shelter for the homeless, keeping our essential services going. All of these actions are indeed washing our feet and drying them. I ask myself, what is Jesus asking of me today? We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you, because by your holy cross and passion, you have redeemed the world.
Good morning, everyone. I thought I'd just share some informal thoughts with you all about Holy Thursday. One of the first things I think of about images or words or phrases about Holy Thursday, of course, is the washing of the feet. Very important symbol. And I can remember when I first saw it and then later experienced it, had my feet washed, just how meaningful it was, how humbling it was, this idea that Christ serves us and that we are called to serve each other. And then the Eucharist itself was also very meaningful, particularly at Holy Thursday Mass, because it was, in fact, the first Eucharist. We are celebrating the first Mass that Jesus celebrated with his disciples. And so it took on greater meaning during that time. And then lastly, the arrest of Jesus always struck me because the Eucharist was taken away and the altar was stripped and the Eucharist was reposed elsewhere and Jesus was taken away, and also we would not get a chance to celebrate Mass again until the Easter Vigil. So those are images and words I think of particularly about the Holy Thursday liturgy. In everyday actions, in terms of being called to serve. Jesus served us. He washed our feet. We wash each other's feet. I also think as a deacon, in fact, the word deacon comes from the Greek word diakona, which means service, that I am called to serve just as each of us are called to serve each other through charity, through teaching, through visiting the sick, through praying for those in need, all of those things that we do as deacons and that we're called to do as parishioners. And then the connection of the two, washing the feet and the Eucharist, I think, again, of the words of the deacon in this case, at the end of every Mass, there are words that I would say about go and announce the gospel of the Lord, go forth glorifying the Lord by your life. That the Eucharist itself, word and sacrament in the liturgy, nourishes us and strengthens us and fills us to then go forth to actually do God's work, to proclaim the good news and to live it out in our lives and in our interactions with others, that we're all called to do that also. So Holy Thursday is a wonderful, for me, as a remembrance of Christ's service, Christ's love, the communion of the Eucharist, washing of the feet, and the need to serve one another.
My first couple of years of seminary, I was at St. Ben's, or St. Joseph Seminary College in Covington, Louisiana. And one thing that profoundly stands out to me from Holy Thursday was this huge meal that you would have with the monks before beginning the sacred Triduum. This meal would be a nice meal, and it would provide you strength, and you'd have a good time to be together, sharing stories. And it gave you strength to enter into the sacred silence, the sacred time that would begin following the meal with the Holy Triduum. And I think about how for Christ it must have been similar. He received strength by having all his friends, his apostles, there with him on Holy Thursday, and it gave him strength to go to the foot of the cross for our behalf. For me, to this day, I continue to, on Holy Thursday, have a nice meal, a mini celebration in a sense, to prepare myself, kind of almost the end of Lent, entering into this sacred season of the Triduum. So I have usually a nice, enjoyable meal and enjoy Thursday evening before the sacred silence and fast of Good Friday and Holy Saturday. As well, two things that stand out to me are the connection between the washing of the feet and the institution of the Eucharist. A God who is humble enough to stoop and wash the feet of his disciples is the same God who is humble enough to give himself out of love to us under the signs of bread and wine. And that connection between Jesus washing his disciples' feet and Jesus giving us himself in the Holy Eucharist, the connection through humility and love. Both of those show us God's humility of Christ and the love of Christ. And we can reflect this Holy Thursday. Unfortunately, we can't have Holy Eucharist, but we can continue to live with humility and love. That's part of what the home prayer will be this evening, inviting you to wash the feet of your loved ones in your home. Of each of the reflections, I'm going to go over a couple of the practical things for Holy Week at home. There's a resource on our website. I'll put a link in the Facebook and in the YouTube that you can click on to download this resource. This will be essential for the Holy Week at Home. It's called Holy Week at Home, and it's provided by Liturgical Press. So for today, you'll go to the pages, it begins on page 5, and it's Thursday of the Lord's Supper, Holy Thursday. Provides a little introduction of what's going on, so you want to read that. You should have a leader. It should be the head of the household. If you're in a house without children or you're by yourself, then you'll be the leader, or one of the spouses will be the leader. So you can read through it. You'll see they give kind of an introduction to kind of place yourself, what's going on, what's happening in this season. We're kind of doing that with the reflections as well. And then they'll have a ritual at home. It talks today particularly about the washing of the feet. So it gives you an opening prayer, it gives you a reading from Scripture, and then it tells you how to go about washing each other's feet. And then you'll have a time for intercessions, the Lord's Prayer, and a closing prayer. It's not a very long ceremony. It shouldn't take but maybe 5 to 10 minutes or so, but I think it's a powerful ceremony. Apart from the washing of the feet in this ceremony, I really encourage you and invite you to make a special meal tonight. Spend time with those you love, of course, safely, so those you love who you've rarely been in contact with, because we're not supposed to be seeing a wide amount of people, and enjoy each other's presence, enjoy each other's company, enjoy the fellowship of a good meal. And share that meal and reflect upon that love that's found in the community of Christ, the community of disciples, that love that you should find within your home as well. If you're like me, you may live by yourself. Well, you can still make yourself a nice meal and spend some time in prayer and just reflect upon those you love. And you won't be able to wash anyone's feet, but you'll be able to maybe think about those that you love and how you might be able to serve them. So I encourage you to make a nice meal, share it with your family there in your household, and then celebrate that little liturgy that you'll find for the Holy Week at home on Holy Thursday. One final thought is at 7 o'clock tonight on Holy Thursday, we'll have a period of prayer together that'll be streamed on Facebook and YouTube. It'll be a way for us as a broader community to come together. It'll be evening prayer at the church, and we'll have benediction. The whole service will probably be about 30 minutes long, so it'll be about from 7 o'clock to 7:30. So I invite you and encourage you to come join us on our live stream tonight as well. God bless you and keep you, and we'll have a video similar to this tomorrow morning on Good Friday for you.
Oh, how good it is and how blessed